Good morning. Have you ever thought about the first moments when you wake up each day? The moment your eyes open, the first breath you take, these moments set the stage for the entire day ahead. What if, instead of rushing into the busy demands of life, you took a moment to prioritize something truly life-changing? What if you started each day by inviting God into that sacred space of your morning? Starting your day with God is more than just a routine. It's a powerful decision that shapes the way you see everything around you. The world, with all its noise and distractions, will try to pull you in every direction. But when you begin your day with God, you are choosing to center your thoughts, your actions, and your heart on Him. You are deciding that He is the first thing in your mind and the last thing on your heart. This simple act of devotion, whether it's a moment of prayer, a time of quiet meditation, or just acknowledging His presence before you rush into the demands of your day, transforms your entire perspective. You begin to see challenges through His eyes, you make decisions with His wisdom, and you move forward with a peace that surpasses understanding. This is the power of starting your day with God. It's easy to fall into the habit of letting the world dictate your rhythm. The alarm goes off, and suddenly, you're caught up in the rush, checking your phone, planning your to-do list, and diving into the whirlwind of the day. But I want to invite you to pause for a moment. What if the first thought on your mind was not the busyness of the day ahead, but the greatness of God? What if, before you do anything, you commit the day to Him and ask Him to guide you through every moment? When we start our day with God, we are acknowledging that He is the foundation of our lives. We are trusting Him with everything that comes our way, knowing that He is in control and that His plans for us are good. So I want to challenge you today, before you get out of bed, before you let the world take hold, take a moment to connect with God. Let Him fill your heart with peace, strength, and the assurance that He is with you. The rest of the day will fall into place in ways you never expected. As you step into your day, I want to remind you of something incredibly important. Seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. Matthew. This verse is not just a nice thought to hang on your wall. It's a principle that can radically change how you live each and every day. It's not just a reminder, it's a command and a promise from God. How often do we wake up and immediately start thinking about all the things we need to do, all the tasks we need to complete, all the worries that are waiting for us? It's easy to get caught up in the demands of life, isn't it? We all have goals, deadlines, and priorities that seem to scream for our attention, and yet here's Jesus telling us something counterintuitive. Don't let those things be your first thought. Instead, make your first thought Him. What does that really mean? It means that no matter how busy your day gets, no matter what challenges you're facing, you start by acknowledging God's kingdom. You start by remembering that He is the King, that He reigns over your life and everything in it. Before you dive into your to-do list, take a moment to focus on His goodness, His faithfulness, and His promises. Let Him be your first priority, because when you do, everything else falls into place. Think about it for a moment. What are the things that you're chasing after in life? The job, the relationships, the success, the comfort, the peace. All of these things are important to us, but Jesus reminds us that they come when we seek Him first. When God becomes our priority, when His kingdom takes the place of the world's distractions, we find that everything else falls into its rightful place. It's not about having everything figured out, and it's certainly not about being perfect. It's about setting your heart on Him each day, even before the world tries to pull you in different directions. God knows your needs. He knows what you need to get through the day, and He promises that when you seek Him, He will provide for you in ways you can't even imagine. When we prioritize God in the morning, it's like putting on the right pair of glasses. It gives you a new perspective on everything around you. Suddenly, the things that seemed overwhelming the night before become manageable. The stresses you face don't feel quite as heavy, because you know that God is with you and He's in control. So, today and every day, let this be your focus. Seek first His kingdom. Start your day with God, and trust that He will take care of the rest. There's a peace that comes with knowing you've given God the first part of your day, because you've invited Him to lead you, guide you, and make the way straight before you. Let Him be your first thought when you wake up, and watch how the rest of your day unfolds. As we continue on this journey of waking up with God, there's something incredibly important that we need to embrace: consistency and perseverance in prayer. Prayer isn't just something we do when we're in trouble, when we need something, or when life is hard. Prayer is the heartbeat of our relationship with God. It's not a one-time event. It's an ongoing conversation. And just like any relationship, it needs consistency to grow and flourish. The Bible says, "Pray without ceasing." 1 Thessalonians 5:17. That's a powerful call to make prayer a constant in our lives. Not just when we need something or when things go wrong, but in every moment, in every season. It's easy to think that prayer is just a few minutes in the morning or before bed. But prayer is meant to be a thread woven through the fabric of our entire day. It's a continual dialogue with God, a heart-to-heart conversation that keeps us connected to His will, His power, and His peace. Consistency in prayer is about making God a part of every moment, not just the urgent ones. It's waking up in the morning and saying, "God, I need you today. I surrender my day to you." It's praying while you're driving, while you're at work, and even while you're resting at home. It's inviting God into the mundane moments and letting Him be part of every decision, every action, and every thought. But you might ask, how do we keep going when it feels like nothing is changing? That's where perseverance comes in. When we keep praying, even when we don't see the immediate results, we are building something much more powerful than we realize. We are building a foundation of trust. We are showing God that we believe in His timing, in His plan, and in His power to bring about what is best for us. Jesus Himself demonstrated this principle. In the Garden of Gethsemane, He prayed fervently, not just once but 3 times, asking God to take away the cup of suffering. He prayed with perseverance, even though He knew what He was about to face. And in that perseverance, He found strength and peace in God's will. Prayer is not just about getting what we want. It's about aligning our hearts with God's purpose and trusting that He knows what's best for us. When we persevere in prayer, we're also cultivating a deeper relationship with God. Prayer isn't about reciting the same words over and over. It's about pouring out your heart to God, being honest with Him about your struggles, your dreams, and your fears. It's in that openness that you will experience His love, His peace, and His guidance. Don't let the discouragement of unanswered prayers lead you to stop praying. Keep praying. Keep knocking. Keep seeking. God hears every word you speak, and He is working in ways you can't always see. Sometimes the breakthrough doesn't come immediately, but in the process of persistent prayer, God is shaping your heart and building your faith. Jesus said, "Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be opened to you." Matthew 7:7. The key here is persistence. Ask, seek, and knock, and keep asking. Keep seeking and keep knocking, even when it feels like the door isn't opening yet. God is faithful, and He promises that in His perfect timing He will answer. So today, I encourage you to remain consistent and persevere in prayer. Don't give up. Prayer is powerful, and it works. Even when you don't see the results right away, know that God is at work. Your prayers are not in vain. Keep talking to Him, keep seeking Him, and in time you'll see the breakthrough that comes from a heart that doesn't give up. Trust in God every single day. This is where the rubber meets the road in our walk with Him. Jesus taught us to pray, "Give us this day our daily bread." Matthew 6:11. Notice that He didn't say, "Give us this week's or this month's bread," but rather, "Give us this day." This simple but profound prayer reminds us that our trust in God isn't just for the big moments or the long-term plans. It's meant to be lived out daily, in every moment, with every need we face. Now think about your own life. How often do we worry about the future? How often do we try to control things that are beyond our reach? It's easy to get caught up in anxiety, especially when we feel uncertain about tomorrow. But Jesus calls us to trust Him daily. He wants us to come to Him with our daily needs, knowing that He is faithful to provide. When we bring our concerns to Him one day at a time, we're living in a place of peace that only He can give. Trusting God daily is about surrendering our fears, our doubts, and our worries each day. knowing that He is in control. There is a kind of peace that comes when we trust Him for today, not for tomorrow or next week, but today. You don't have to carry the weight of your future all at once. God is asking you to trust Him in the here and now. He knows what you need today. He knows what you'll face, and He's already there, ahead of you, working in your life. How often do we try to carry the weight of tomorrow's worries today? We know we have things to take care of, things to plan for, but instead of putting our trust in God, we let anxiety consume us. But God doesn't want us to live like that. He wants us to rely on His provision for today. He doesn't promise to give us all the answers for tomorrow, but He does promise to be with us today. There's also something incredibly freeing about trusting God in this way. When you trust God daily, you don't have to worry about figuring everything out on your own. You know that He will give you the wisdom, the strength, and the courage you need for each day. And if you trust Him today, you'll have the confidence to trust Him tomorrow, and the next day, and the next. The beautiful thing about this kind of trust is that it grows over time. The more you trust God each day, the more you see His faithfulness. The more you see Him provide for you today, the more you realize that He will never leave you or forsake you. He will provide for all of your needs. When you look back, you'll see His hand in every moment, guiding you, protecting you, and leading you. But here's the truth. This daily trust doesn't come naturally. It's a decision we make. Every day we can choose to either trust in our own strength or trust in God's faithfulness. Trusting Him daily means giving up control, surrendering our plans, and allowing Him to work in His perfect timing. It means waking up each morning and saying, Lord, I trust You for today. I know You have already prepared what I need, and I trust You to provide. If you're struggling with worry or uncertainty today, I encourage you to take a deep breath and remember that God has got you. He has promised to meet your needs, to guide you, and to walk with you through every situation. You don't have to face this day on your own. Trust in His provision, His care, and His timing. And as you do, you'll begin to see how His peace settles in your heart, knowing that He is working all things for your good. So trust God today. Trust Him for your daily bread, for everything you need, and for the wisdom to navigate the day. Don't carry tomorrow's worries. Let God handle that. Trust Him, and watch how He shows up in your life, in ways that will strengthen your faith and deepen your relationship with Him. Building a life of obedience and purpose is at the heart of what it means to follow Christ. As believers, we are called to live with intention, to walk in God's will, and to obey His commands. But obedience doesn't always come easily, does it? There are days when it feels like we're fighting against our own desires, our own plans, and the world's temptations. Yet, it's in choosing obedience that we discover the purpose and the peace that only God can provide. When you think about your life, do you feel like you're living with purpose? Do you feel that what you're doing each day is aligned with God's will for you? This is where obedience comes into play. When we choose to obey God, we are choosing to live the life He has designed for us. It's not always the easiest path, but it is the best path. Jesus said, "If you love me, keep my commands." John 14:15. It's that simple, yet that powerful. Our obedience to God is a reflection of our love for Him. When we choose to follow His commands, even when they go against the flow of the world, we are showing Him that we trust Him. We are saying, God, I believe that Your way is better than my way. I believe that Your plan is better than my plan. The world around us tells us to do what feels good in the moment. It encourages us to follow our own desires, to pursue our own dreams, and to define success by our own standards. But as followers of Christ, we know that true fulfillment comes not from doing what we want, but from doing what God has called us to do. True purpose is found in obedience to Him. Obedience is not always about doing grand, extraordinary things. It's about being faithful in the everyday. It's about doing the little things with a heart of love and service to God. Whether it's being kind to someone who doesn't deserve it, choosing honesty even when it's hard, or forgiving someone who has wronged us. These are the moments that define a life of obedience. But let's be real, obedience can be difficult. Sometimes it feels like we're giving up our own desires, our own control. But here's the thing, when we obey God, we are not losing something. We are gaining something far greater, His peace, His direction, and His blessings. God has a purpose for each of us, a purpose that is far greater than anything we could ever imagine for ourselves. And when we walk in obedience to Him, we are walking in that purpose. When you begin to build a life of obedience, you start to see the fruit of it in your life. You see how God leads you to opportunities that align with His will. You begin to see how He opens doors and closes others for your protection. You start to notice the way He shapes your character, teaching you patience, humility, and kindness. And slowly but surely, your life becomes a testimony of His goodness and faithfulness. The key to living a life of obedience is not about perfection, but about choosing each day to surrender to God's will. It's about saying, Lord, today I choose to follow you, even when I don't understand it all, even when it's hard. I choose your way over my own. This is where purpose is found. Purpose is not just a destination. It's a daily journey of following God, listening to His voice, and living out His calling for you. Every day is an opportunity to take one step closer to the life He has prepared for you. So what is God calling you to today? What areas of your life is He asking you to surrender to Him? Maybe it's a relationship that needs healing, a decision that requires faith, or an action that requires obedience. Whatever it is, take that step today. Building a life of obedience and purpose is a lifelong journey, but it's one that is filled with joy, peace, and the deep satisfaction of knowing you are living according to God's plan. Trust that as you obey Him, He will reveal more of His purpose for your life, and He will lead you into the abundant life He has promised. Choose obedience today, and watch how God transforms your life, one step at a time. Prayer in every moment. That's what God is calling us to. It's easy to think that prayer is something we only do in the morning, or before bed, or in times of crisis. But the truth is, prayer is not meant to be confined to specific times or situations. Prayer is meant to be a continuous conversation with God throughout the day. It's about keeping our hearts and minds connected to Him, no matter where we are or what we're doing. In 1 Thessalonians 5:17, the Bible encourages us to pray without ceasing. What does that mean for us in our everyday lives? It doesn't mean we're expected to spend every waking hour on our knees, locked away in a prayer closet. It means that prayer should be woven into the fabric of our lives, like a thread that runs through every moment. It's about staying in constant communication with God, no matter what we're doing. Think about it. How many moments in your day do you spend simply talking to God? It doesn't have to be a long, formal prayer every time. It can be a quick thought, a whisper, or even a silent cry in your heart. When you're at work, you can pray for wisdom. When you're dealing with a difficult situation, you can pray for patience. When you're at the grocery store, you can pray for someone who is struggling. Prayer in every moment means bringing God into the little things, as well as the big things. It's in the moments of our day-to-day lives where we can invite God in, and where we can see His presence at work. We don't need to wait for the perfect moment to pray. We don't need to wait for a crisis. Prayer can happen in the mundane, in the busy, in the quiet moments, in the joyful moments, and even in the challenging ones. And prayer doesn't have to be long or elaborate. It's not about the length or the fancy words, it's about the posture of your heart. It's about coming before God with sincerity and openness. It's about trusting that He hears every word, even the ones we whisper to ourselves in the quiet of our minds. God isn't concerned with how we say things, He's concerned with the condition of our hearts. Sometimes prayer is simply saying, God, I need you right now. Sometimes it's thanking Him for the small blessings in the middle of your busy day. Sometimes it's a moment of surrender, when you say, Lord, I can't do this on my own. I need your help. And sometimes it's just a quiet awareness that God is right there with you, in every moment. The beauty of this constant conversation with God is that it keeps us grounded in His presence. It reminds us that we're not alone, but He is with us in every moment. When you invite God into the everyday moments, you begin to see Him in ways you never have before. You'll begin to feel His peace in your heart, His guidance in your decisions and His love in your interactions with others. You don't have to be in a church or in a special setting to pray. You don't need a quiet, distraction-free environment. Prayer is something that can happen while you're driving, while you're doing dishes, while you're taking a walk. Prayer can happen while you're in a meeting, in a conversation, or even while you're facing a challenge. God is always available, and He always wants to hear from you. So my friend, I want to encourage you today. Make prayer a part of every moment. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be real. Invite God into your day, into your routine, into your decisions, and into your relationships. Talk to Him, listen to Him, and watch how He works in your life. When we pray without ceasing, we open ourselves up to a deeper relationship with God, a life that is constantly filled with His presence, His peace, and His power. As we come to the end of this time together, I want to remind you of something truly powerful. Living each day with God at the center is the key to a life filled with peace, purpose, and direction. Everything we've talked about, the importance of waking up with God, seeking Him first, praying consistently, trusting Him daily, and building a life of obedience, comes down to this simple truth. God must be the center of your life, every single day. When you wake up, when you go through your day, and when you lay down at night, let God be your focus. He wants to be involved in every part of your life, not just the moments when you feel like you need Him the most. The more you make God your priority, the more you'll see His hand at work in ways you could never imagine. You'll experience His peace in the midst of chaos, His guidance in times of uncertainty, and His love in ways that will change your heart and your perspective. But it's not just about acknowledging God on Sundays or during times of crisis. It's about making Him your first thought when you wake up, your constant companion throughout the day, and your last thought when you lay down to sleep. It's about inviting Him into every conversation, every decision, and every moment. The more you put God at the center of your day, the more you'll see His love transform your life. I want to challenge you today. Start making God the center of your life, starting right now. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just begin by seeking Him, praying to Him, and trusting Him. Let Him lead you. Let Him guide you. Let Him shape your heart and your day. If you want to continue on this journey of discovering how to keep God at the center of your life, I invite you to check out the Endless Love of God YouTube channel. There you'll find more inspiration, powerful teachings, and encouragement to help you live each day with God's love and purpose guiding your steps. Subscribe, engage, and let God's love overflow into every area of your life. Remember, God is always with you, and His love for you is endless. Live today and every day with God at the center, and watch how He transforms your life from the inside out.